Okay, I think we are live. Yep. Okay. Make sure we are not dropping frames. Hey, I appreciate that, Byron. We're gonna get started in a second. And I think my upload speed is good. Trying to make sure we're on the right path here. Hey, what's going on, Nicholas? Crypto Games, what's happening? All right. Well, without further ado, it is 10:01. We're gonna go ahead and get this live stream kicked off. And as you can see, today it is Cwil's Tech Tuesdays. It's been a minute since I actually did a Tech Tuesday. And actually, this is the first live stream of 2020 for the channel, so super excited about that. And we got some great news today. So we are definitely, as you can see up here on the screen, if you haven't known by now, there's been like some huge rumors about Nvidia with the new graphics cards and Ampere, the names and all this different type of stuff. Yeah, graphics cards, man, it's gonna be something else. But hey, with Nvidia though, let me tell you something. The RTX 3080 and the 3070, they definitely got some stuff planned for this year. There have been a lot of rumors where they're saying that basically the performance is probably going to be around about 50% more in performance. And, we don't have anything concrete yet. It's just rumors. But this is actually something that came out. I'm on videocards.com, and this was also on WCCF Tech. They start off the article saying, before we go any further, I must say that the confidence in this rumor is relatively low. But there's a couple of things to think about. One of the things that they talked about was in a previous quote unquote leak is that one of the things they talked about was that 50% increase. Now I'm thinking that's probably going to be a 50% increase in ray tracing performance. But taking a look at some of the things that they have here, so it talks about the Ampere GA102. So instead of using Turing, the TU nomenclature, they're actually talking about the GA102 and Ampere GA103, GA104. And it looks like for the RTX 3080, so it talks about the cores 3840. The memory size, it could be anywhere between 10 to 20 gigabytes. That is like phenomenal. I'm not for sure. Well, I do know there's so much competition that's going on right now and that's dealing with AMD and stuff like that, that Nvidia have to step it up. And for the 3070, they're talking about 3072 cores, 8 to 16 gigabytes when it comes to the memory size, and on the 3080, 320 bits. And then you have the 3070, 256 bit. Now, to me, I think they actually have to do this to pretty much be able to say at any given time that, hey, we have the fastest video cards that's out there. And man, and I'm just checking just to make sure that the stream is good. So I'm listening to the stream in my right ear, but just let me know down in the chat. I just want to make sure that the stream and audio is sounding pretty good. Let me know if anything is not working correctly. But yeah, so this is just it's a rumor. I'm not gonna go too deep into all this stuff. You know, you have a lot of people that try to figure out how much the performance is going to be, how much, you know, and you know they get real deep into the scientific figures and stuff of it. Listen, I'm a gamer, I'm a PC enthusiast. I love tech, and okay, appreciate that, Keo. Down in the chat, appreciate that, man. Level 1, I see you, man. Critical Gun sounds good. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. But yeah, these are rumors. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, something that I'm starting to collect GPUs. Just bought a laptop, has a 1660 Ti in it. And going to be doing a review and stuff on that. It's the Acer Predator Helios 300. So that's coming up. The build that I just did, I'm editing the video right now. Hopefully I had it up by Thursday, just with follow-up benchmarks and stuff like that. So that's coming up. But I'm going to start collecting GPUs. So I have a 2080 Super right now, MSI, and definitely dope ass card. But I'm looking to pick up, and we're going to talk about one of the cars tonight, the 5600 XT. Plan on picking up a RTX 2060 Super. I plan on picking up a RTX 2070 Super, and I'll pick up a 2080 Ti. And the reason being is because later on this year, in the next few months, I'm going to be doing video card comparisons when it comes to gameplay, how they react. I got a test bench that I'm working on putting together, so I could be able to swap out video cards, stuff like that. So I actually plan on using a the 9th generation. What is it? I think it's the i7 9700K and a Z390 board, and that's just because when we're talking about pure gameplay, those are still some of the fastest chips. When you talk about doing anything else, then definitely Ryzen is the go. Well, Nicholas, I don't have the 3950X yet. I got the 3900X, the 12 core, but I will be picking up a 16 core because I'm going to put that in the ITX build that I plan on doing in the next couple of months as well. So that's coming. It's definitely coming. Yeah, you're right about that, Keo. Hey, what's up, Tyler? So yeah, so when we talking about the Nvidia stuff, I know I got on a tangent. We got a lot of things that's going to be coming for the channel. But graphics card comparisons is definitely going to be huge. And it's definitely going to be something good in terms of just having, some more content for the channel. But just so you would know how certain video cards is going to react to certain hardware and some of the new games and stuff that's coming out. So that's it on the Nvidia when it comes to like the 3080, 3070. They are super smart. They're going to come out with a 3080 and 3070 series first. The 3070 is basically like your mid-range, kind of like mid-range high-end. 3080 is what people will buy. That's on your high-end, because most people are not going to spend $1,200 on a 3080 Ti. I will be getting one. But they're going to come out with these first, and then they'll bring out your entry-level 3060. Then they'll bring out with your 3080 Ti a little bit later on. So they're supposed to be bringing these cars out starting off either around June of this year or later on, later in the year. So we'll definitely see. All right. So if you're having issues with the stream, I know a couple of people said it was freezing. Just try to refresh your page, because I still have it up. So it seems like it's still working pretty good. my upload speed has like been going up and down. So hopefully everything will be all right with that. So moving on. So one of the biggest things that was released today is the 5600 XT. Yeah, I can't wait to get the 3080 Ti buyer. Definitely, man. I think the actual performance is going to be out of this world. It's going to, I think Nvidia is looking at not only battling against AMD, which of course AMD graphics cards is going to be in the new consoles, but they want to make sure that nobody goes out and buys a console. So I don't think the prices are going to increase, but I do know that it's going to be a lot of competition this year, and this year is going to be all about gaming, graphics, and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Yeah, I'm hoping the 3000 series is worth it too, Tyler. You're right. That price drop is going to be serious. And speaking of price drop, we're going to talk about that because Nvidia did drop the price on one of their cards, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. So the 5600 XT was released today, and from what I saw, I've done some research on what I've seen so far. They released the actual Sapphire Pulse to a lot of reviewers. And the reason why they did is because this particular card, one, it comes with a dual BIOS. So if you flash the BIOS, or if you put on new BIOS, you can always go back to the original. And the reason why they did is because when they released this card today, at CES, they also announced this card. They announced the EVGA RTX 2060 KO, and EVGA actually dropped the price. So basically, the 2060, the RTX 2060 was the only card that Nvidia did not take off of its shelf, and so they left this one on when they released all of the super cards. They still left this one, and so EVGA, I believe, in cahoots with Nvidia, said, "Oh, okay, so the 5600 XT is coming out. Let's drop the price down on the RTX 2060 because the 5600 XT was originally going against the 1660 Ti when they did some of their demos and stuff at CES. So basically, they were saying, hey, there's going to be a 1660 Ti killer. And so what EVGA decided to do, let me see if I go back here. They decided to say, okay, we know how to battle this, and we're going to release the 2060 KO, and which this is the ultra version. They have a regular base version that's like right at 300. This one at 319 on Newegg. But they did this because they knew AMD was up to no good with some stuff. Just take a look at the chat. Nah, Kill, it was no good coverage at CES, but it's all good. Because a lot of companies they doing their own thing. But it's really gonna get down to basically everybody doing their own coverage and taking stuff to another level when it comes to that. So you got to get creative now. It's not the same like what it used to be. So, but going back to this, they released this particular card because it's a big controversy behind this release. And the reason is because for the reviewers who received these cards, they did all of their benchmarking and all this different type of stuff. And then AMD decides to release a new BIOS, which allows the actual card, and we're going to go here. They did a BIOS on the day of the launch. And so basically it took the card from being at its base. So basically they extended the voltage and frequency from 1630 to 1760, increased the memory clock on the factory overclock model from 12 gigabytes to 14 gigabytes per second. So essentially what they did, because they knew that EVGA brought out the actual 2060 at 300, which this card right here is also competing around the same price, $280, $300 mark. What they did is they actually, put people in a situation where you can actually get this particular card, and have around about between a 13 to 14% increase in performance. So with the new BIOS, and it talks about it here, they shipped out the regular BIOS, and here are the actual specs for it. But then they update it with a performance BIOS. And they actually put this card. So basically, they did all of the overclocking for you, basically, once you decide to upgrade to the new BIOS. And now, instead of the 5600 XT competing with the 1660 Ti and beating it, it's actually competing with the 2060 RTX 2060, and it's going head to head and it's competing with it. So that's a huge thing when it comes to competition. But hey, thank you down in the chat. I definitely appreciate it, man. What's going on? But yeah, so what's happening right now is what I love to see, and that's definitely competition when it's coming to the graphics cards. This is going to be the graphics cards, because right now AMD, they're pretty smart. They're trying to make money, and they're competing for people who they just want to game. Most people still have 1080p monitors. They're playing at 1080p, and basically with the 5600 XT, let me see if I could pull this up here. I'm not gonna go through all of these, but let's just look at Grand Theft Auto. So looking at some of the benchmarks here. So for Grand Theft Auto 1080p, very high quality. We're talking about the Sapphire Plus 5600 XT, 90 frames per second. And then you have the regular 5600 XT before the actual BIOS update, 81. So you're talking about 10% increase in frames per second. So that's huge when it comes to, okay, depending on if you have a high refresh rate monitor and stuff like that, you could definitely gain by this. And then we have the 1660 Ti is basically on the same level. But then here it has RTX 2060, 103.5 versus 90. So you're still talking about 10 frames off. And then of course, if you're doing 1440p, it kind of shrinks the gap a little bit. But that's Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's take a look at the Division 2. So take a look at this. You got the 5600 XT, which is not too far behind the 5700. But when it comes to the RTX 2060, it's beating it by 3 frames per second, and it's definitely killing the 1660 Ti. And that's at 1080p ultra settings. So here's what's happening. It's competition. Now, most people, especially if you're a PC enthusiast, you're not even thinking about the 5600 XT. You're looking at least a 2070 Super or 5700 XT and above. And that's all well and fine. But again, what AMD is working on, they also have Big Navi coming. And that's supposed to be faster than the 2080 Ti. So that's going to be super exciting. I don't know when that's going to release or happen later on this year. So we definitely going to wait on that. Let's see what we got down here in the chat. Let's see. Yep, they definitely took over the CPU market. I love my 3900X. So just wait. Again, that review of the new system I built is going to be coming up in the next couple of days. Is the 2080 Ti still worth buying or just wait? That's a great question. That's Anime X Gaming Entertainment. Here's what I'm gonna say. For gaming, like right now, if you had to buy a graphics card, I would probably purchase a 2070 Super. Like if I didn't have a YouTube channel and I wasn't reviewing tech stuff and none of that stuff, and I want to do high refresh rate 1080p, high refresh rate 1440p, you could do that with a 2070 Super. That card is actually the equivalent of a 2080, pretty much. But you could get it for $500. And then take my time, see what comes out in the next 5 or 6 months, and then I will get a 3080 Ti at that time. That would be my personal opinion. That's something that I would do. Now, if you do 4K gaming, then you're gonna need like a 2080 Super. But most people who are doing 4K gaming, you probably already have a 2080 Ti. So it just depends, man. If money is not an issue, go for it. 2080 Ti. But I know for me, I have a 2080 Super. It does 4K gaming. It does high refresh rate. 1440p, kills 1080p. But again, I'm a different individual. I buy stuff. Again, I'm finna, probably in the next few months, I'm going to buy at least maybe about 4 or 5 graphics cards. So, along with the new stuff that's going to be coming out. So yeah, but personal opinion, I probably wouldn't purchase a 2080 Ti right now if it's just for gaming. You get a 2070 Super. It's a sweet spot right now, $500. Keep it moving. Yeah, the 2080 is a beast, especially for rendering 4K. Yep. Or 2070, just overclock it and it'll be a Super. Yeah, you could do that if you could find a regular 2070, but for $500, really that's not bad, for what you get for the 2070 Super. Now a couple of things. Now speaking of that, a couple of things that a lot of people have issues with some of the new Navi cards, so I'm really not recommending anybody buy the 5600 XT or the 5700 XT right now, not until AMD gets their drivers. It becomes a little bit more mature. Some people have problems, some people don't. But I've seen a lot of people have issues with the drivers. The adrenaline drivers and stuff that's out for the 5600 XT, 5700 XT. I still plan on getting one because I want to review it to see how it works. But I can't say that I would recommend buying one of these cards, and the reason being is because of that. Not only that, you need to wait a couple of weeks, because one of the issues that I've saw with this new release of the 5600 XT, some of the cards won't have this new BIOS update. And so it's kind of hard to tell which cards is going to get this BIOS update that's going to give you a 13 or 14% increase in performance. So I will wait until they get that stuff figured out. I do know the Sapphire Pulse is one of the cards, which is the reason why they were sending this card out to all of the reviewers to review. It's guaranteed to have this new BIOS update that gives you the actual performance increase, and it has a dual BIOS. The reason why the dual BIOS is important is because if you happen to flash a BIOS on your card, and something goes wrong, you can always reset it, which is the same thing what happens with a lot of like the more your high-end motherboards, stuff that you get that has the actual dual BIOS or and stuff like that. So you could be able to reset the BIOS without bricking your card. So there are things that could go wrong with flashing your BIOS on your card. One is you could brick your card. Now in that particular instance, you could probably be able to send it back to the manufacturer, RMA it, but who wants to do that because you'll be without a card? So yeah, the sweet spot kosher is still 2K. I love 1440p. It looks great, especially at 27 inches. Definitely. AMD released a new BIOS. It really boosts the Elemental. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah, they just released that BIOS update today. But all of their cards are not getting it. So you got to be careful of that if you ever decided that you want to try to get that card. As long as they don't bottleneck the drivers on any of these cars like they do with the yeah. And I'm not for sure if SLI is even going to come back to life. Kyo, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do about that. Switch to Ultra One. Best Buy. The Best Buy switcheroo. I see you, Kyo. That's funny. But yeah. So that's, some of the information on 5600 XT, man. Just going here on videocards.net. This actually just gives a little breakdown. And then talks about the pricing. Basically, if you plan on it, now here's my thought process, because right now, like if you went to Nvidia's website, actually this is a really good price. So you want to do high refresh rate 1080p gaming, being able to get a Founders Edition RTX 2060, the non-super for $299 is amazing. And not only that, with this card, if you ever decide that you want to do live streaming, the NVIDIA encoder takes a lot of stress off of your CPU, and you could pretty much, you know, game and stream all on one system. And you could do it with this card. You don't have to have a 27. You don't have to have a 28 or a 2080 Ti to do that. With the new NVIDIA encoder, you can actually take advantage of all that stuff with this card. So it's phenomenal. But right now, it's out of stock on NVIDIA's website. So good luck on finding that for $299. Actually, what I recommend if you were getting a car right now, if 500 is too much, I definitely say get a 30, not 30, but get a 2060 Super for $399. But really, for $399, I would just wait and just wait till you get another $100 and get the 2070 Super. It's going to take you a long way. I really do think that that's probably one of the best cars to get right now. If prices is on your conscience, especially with the new cars that's going to be coming out in the next maybe 4 or 5 months, 2060 Super, 2070 Super, I wouldn't go beyond that unless, again, money is not an issue. But I think 2080 Super, 2080 Ti is probably going to be a waste of money. You can put more money into like your processor, motherboard, storage, stuff like that on your system. Let's see what we got here in the comments. Right now, GPU technology is so far ahead of game engines for SLI to be useful. Yep, I agree, Elemental. If I could get to, let's see, but yeah. So here's right here, just a list of cards. Like I said, if you need a graphics card and you plan on, and you want to get something that's AMD, I will wait a few weeks before getting one of these, because some of these cards are guaranteed to get the new BIOS update, and some of them are not, and you can't tell. So that's terrible. It's like one of the worst release, launches that I've ever seen, where they're releasing these BIOS updates, but not all the cards are going to get them. So yeah. So like, hey, I appreciate that. I try to do the best I can. But yeah. So I'm gonna do something a little extra tonight. Let's go to PC Part Picker. And let's go to System Builder now. I already got some stuff in here, so you can probably see what I probably been working on. All right, so since this is up, because I was going to do something a little different. Yeah, the BIOS thing worries me too, man. I don't know if I'm too fun of flashing BIOS on the graphics card. Even though I pretty much know what I'm doing, Keo, I just, you buy a new graphics card, you don't want to flash BIOS. Like if I order something and I plan on using it, if something goes wrong, then I gotta wait to send it back. See, this is why I have multiple systems. But let's take a look at some stuff here. I'm just kind of giving you a little peek into the future about what I plan on doing a little bit later on this year. I plan on getting a Threadripper, the 3960X. It's $1,400. The Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro, not 100% on this, but I may. The Asus Zenith Extreme, it's an $800 motherboard. A total of 64 gigabytes in memory. It's 3600 G-Skill Neo. I actually have this particular kit in my system right now, so I just get 2 sets of those. 2 terabytes, 2 1 terabyte sticks of the Sabrent Rocket. These are actually pretty good PCI 4.0 sticks. Just in this unit, because I'm only going to be using this for some 4K video editing and stuff like that. I got a RTX 2060 Super here, but this is probably going to change. I'm not 100% sure on that. 1,000 watt 1,000 watt power supply, 80 plus gold. Total is 3628. So yeah, that's going to be coming a little bit later on this year, so keep that in mind. Hey man, I do a lot. I hustle, and I grind and I work every day of the week, literally. So you know, got to get it for the channel though. At least that's my excuse. You know, when I tell my wife when she sees that price. Yeah, Super Chris, what's going on, man? Yeah, man. You know, uh, you got to go back and catch the rewind. We was talking about some 3080, 3070 stuff, some rumors that's going on, but really, I think that stuff is going to be real. It's going to become real. This is going to be the year of graphics cards. But I'm actually going to clear this out. I actually want to show you all something. I can't tell you too much information because you're going to have to catch the actual review. But it's something that I found out about some of the Ryzen systems, man. The Ryzen CPUs. I'm just going to say this. It may not be worth overclocking those CPUs. I just put it like that. Watch my review that's going to come out on Thursday. But let's build a system real quick before we cut off the live stream. Yeah, if I was building a gaming system and all I did was gaming, because I'm actually going to build this computer that I'm about to get ready to show you now. And you want to get the highest refresh rate possible. So I know a lot of times people ask me, everybody pretty much right now, nobody just games. At some point you're going to do some video editing. At some point you're going to do some live streaming, you know, gameplay and all this different type of stuff. But let's say you're a person like me and you have multiple computers. And of course, you know, I got pretty much a workstation PC that's also great at gaming. But let's say you want to do some competitive gaming and you want to get the highest refresh rate possible. What type of system should you build? Well, let's do that. So the CPU that I would choose when it comes to price versus performance, I would actually get the i7 9700K. It's an 8-core CPU. 8 threads, so it does not have any hyper threading. Base clock 3.6 gigahertz, boost clock 4.9, but I've read that you can actually get all cores up to 5 gigahertz with a little bit of overclocking. So that's just Intel CPUs. They are really good when it comes to the overclocking. You could get this for $389.99. Why would I choose this over the 9900K? Is because if you were doing just gaming and that's all you're gonna do, and you got the money, you can save yourself about $100. So let's do that. CPU cooler. If you're gonna be overclocking, you definitely need at least a 240 millimeter cooler. I would not do an air cooler when it comes to overclocking. You need at least an AIO because these chips get super hot. So you're fine with either X62 or you could do a 100i. I actually prefer the H150 Pro. This is fine. Either one, but this is a little cheaper, so let's go with the X62. Now, for Ryzen, it's not a whole lot of headroom when it comes to overclocking, and that's because they pretty much maxed out their CPUs. So precision boost actually gives you pretty much close to the same performance, especially with gaming, to the same thing that you would get with overclock. So you could save yourself on the temps. Let's see. Would you recommend a 1 terabyte X2 or 500 gigabytes plus as a boot drive? By the way, love the channel, been watching. That is training game. Man, I would recommend if you're going to be using multiple hard drives, I recommend the 970 Evo plus the 500 gigabyte as a boot drive. You don't need a whole lot of storage for your boot drive if you're going to be using a separate drive for gaming and all that other different type of stuff. Samsung is reliable, man. That's like one of the biggest things, especially when it comes to the reliability of the drive, speed and stuff like that. A lot of these other drives, if you don't know, I think it's the QVLC or something like that. as soon as that drive starts to fill up, and I'm talking about for NVMe, they start to slow down. So Samsung doesn't have that issue. So yes, a 9900K could be worth it in the long run, but really, even in the long run, it may not. Which is the reason why if you're doing mostly gaming, I would go with the 9700K, because you're spending less money. Unless you could get a good price on a 9900K, I think that chip is still overpriced. Because what's going to be happening within the next year or so, you're going to find yourself, if you start to do a lot more multitasking and stuff like that, you probably need to get a Ryzen, because anything that's over 8 cores for Intel is like crazy expensive. So you could still get the 3900X for less than $500. At least through Micro Center you can. Let's see. So let's just finish building this motherboard. You can actually get I'm gonna tell you a board that worked great for me, the Gigabyte Z390 Aorus Ultra 246. You can also get, well, let's just go with that. There's a bunch of other boards that you can get, but I had this board before. It worked wonders, especially with overclocking. When it comes to Intel, memory speed is not a huge deal. So you could get G.Skill 16 gigabytes, 3200 speed, Cache Latent 16. This is fine, less than $100. Storage, depending on how many games that you have, let's just go with the Samsung 970 Evo, 1 terabyte for $168. They have cheaper drives, but it's totally up to you. Again, reliability, and when it starts to fill up, that still is going to perform just as good. Video card. Now, again, we talked about this, we talked about getting the highest frame rate possible. So of course, to do that, you're going to need a 2080 Ti. And again, this is if money is not an issue right now and you will build just a pure gaming PC and you do competitive gaming. We're not thinking about money right now. I would actually recommend the Asus ROG Strix Gaming OC or the Gaming X Trio, whichever one that you can get cheaper. So right now, MSI Gaming X Trio is cheaper. You can do that. Case is always personal. It's up to you. In this particular case, I would probably get the Lian Li O11 Dynamic. That's like one of the best cases that's on the market right now. I plan on picking that up later on this year. Power supply, you could do 750. I would probably go 850. That's just me. And the rest of the stuff is neither here nor there. So we're talking about $2,500. $2,500. Now I know what you're thinking. It's like, man, $2,500, I can get so much more. Remember what I said? If you want to get the highest frame rate possible, and you do competitive gaming, and you got a 240 hertz monitor, you got a 165 hertz monitor, and you play a lot of, Fortnite, Apex Legends, and frame rate is important to you, this would be the best gaming PC you could pretty much buy right now. And it's gonna cost you $2,500. That's pretty much it. So I actually plan on putting something together like this, just for testing purposes, man. Because the thing about this particular processor or the 9900K, either one, you could pick up either or, but let's just, for sakes, if money is not an issue, get a 9900K. Let's see if we can find it right here. It's going to cost you a little bit more. and you're more like almost 2,700 bucks. So that's about a $200 difference. Personally, I would go, because I have two systems, I would go with a 9700K. But I plan on putting something like this together because with the processor like this or the 9700K and the 2080 Ti, you eliminate the bottlenecking of what can happen when you're trying to get the fastest frame rate possible. And for the most part, this is if you plan on doing, again, if you just gaming and you want to get the highest frame rate possible, this is the type of setup that you probably need to put together. And yeah, I know it's a lot of money. You'll probably have it for a few years or longer, but that's what you need. Now, if you plan on doing anything else besides gaming, save yourself some money, and I would get a riser system. You'll get a little bit better. Basically, I'm tell you, you're gonna need something over 8 cores for the future. And which is the reason why I got the 3900X along with other reasons why I have it. But for the future, especially when it comes into doing anything that has to deal with multitasking, 4K stuff, video editing, just having stability in your gameplay and stuff like that. A lot of stuff, the new consoles are moving to 8 cores or hyper-threading or better. And the reason being is because it's going to take a lot to be able to push the new games and stuff that's going to be coming out. So keep that in mind when you building and stuff like that, and you're trying to figure out what you want to do. Am I still frozen? Somebody let me know down in the chat. And I'm just taking a look at some of the stuff down here in the chat. 13700, so wait for Zen 3S. It's gonna be a last generation. If you could wait, the 3700X is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good chip. 3700X, you could probably get one of those for I think it's around about $349, $329. $329. You could get a 3700X. That's actually pretty good. But later on this year, it's going to go down in price. But I don't think you're going to see a big difference in price like you did from Zen 1 to Zen 2. So keep that in mind too. Because AMD, they're ruling the CPU market right now. So they don't have a need to drop the prices like they did with like the 2700X. It's like a 2700X, which is an 8-core chip, 16 threads. That's like, for Micro Center, it's going for like $159, which is crazy. So that's still a good deal, especially if you was doing a budget build or something like that. But 3700X is a good chip. Oh, it's $299 at Micro Center? Oh, man. So that's even better. If you was doing a budget build right now, 3700X, 3800X, it's definitely worth it. It's going to take you way on the future. You could definitely do a lot of stuff with that, a lot of multitasking and stuff like that. Oh. Yeah. With the amount of money and stuff that's being spent on systems, listen, I already know $3,000 and $2,500. That's a lot of money, but it's so much that you could do with it. Don't look at me when it comes to like systems, because I change out my stuff in a heartbeat. I spend a lot of money, but also I do a lot of stuff for the channel. I make back a lot of money and stuff like that. Stuff I do on the side. So if you see me spending money, you see me swapping out stuff, I'm not normal. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is just some of the stuff I got coming up, man. I just want to let y'all into my world. Y'all know I stay busy. I got a new stuff coming up. I got a new case review that's going to be coming up for the Lian Li Landcool 2. Stay tuned for that. We got some more builds and stuff that's going to be coming real soon. I have a review of my new laptop, which I love. That's going to be coming up real soon. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff, man. I appreciate the support. I always appreciate the support. Don't forget to hit the link down in the description below for our Discord. Man, I love everybody in the Discord. You know, we have some good talks about stuff. People ask me a lot of questions and all that good stuff. So don't mind asking. We help people out. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for supporting and following through. And again, the goal this year is actually to grow this channel to 100,000 subscribers. And we got some computer giveaways that we're going to be doing this year. I'm hoping I can be able to get the first one done in the next couple of months. So definitely just stay tuned for that. Again, make sure that you hit like, hit subscribe, share this video, share it everywhere you can. It helps me with the algorithm, you know, with YouTube, the whole YouTube thing, man. And I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for following through. And we're going to call it a good night. Peace.